start, I felt like it was a frustrating game. Obviously, the third quarter was really an embarrassment in terms of how the things that we try to instill in our players and holding on to the football and making mental mistakes and physical mistakes. There were just a couple of really, really bad plays that unfortunately really turned the tide, and we dug a hole that we really could not get ourselves out of. But just going through that, which I'll address a little bit more here in a second, just going to the course of the game, I was feeling, at the beginning, I give our defense credit. We were playing such good defense on first down and second down. They went, I believe, 7 for 7 on third downs. And it's a testament to Coach Moore, the adjustments that he made as our defensive coordinator, to our players to step up and really, after those first two drives where they went 7 for 7, and after playing so well on first down and second down and having the disappointment of giving up the third down conversions, we stepped up and I believe held them. I believe it was 1 for 9 for the rest of the game on third downs. So that was commendable. I mean, just a great job out of our defense. Offense, after a little bit of a slow start, really came together and put together some nice drives in the second half. Some great passes, great play by our receivers and Ryan Clark getting the ball downfield. We were getting some pretty consistent protection out of our offensive line, which was really patchwork out there. With John Hammond playing his first game at the tackle position. So going in at halftime, I was really optimistic. I think our team was excited. We knew we were in this game. We were playing well. It was a great second quarter. And the mood was spectacular at halftime. The guys ready to take the field, and offense was getting the ball, and it started with a not so great kickoff return, putting us up in a bad situation. Is that the fire alarm?
Yeah, I don't think it's real enough. It's okay. Yeah, we're good.
All right. So, just a bizarre set of circumstances set in motion. Again, lack of focus at times, particularly on the offensive side of the ball. The turnovers, you've got fumble out of a veteran tailback who does a pretty good job holding on to the football and gives it up, and it gets scooped up rather than it's a crazy play. Here, a play up the middle, and there's a big scrum, but in that case, it was them. It just bounced right to their player. He picks it up, he runs down, and puts our defense in a terrible situation. First and goal, we couldn't hold them. The offense comes back out, and it's another turnover. Return back, and we continued to do things. Some of it, a little bit of it was bad luck, but just we put so much stress on turnovers and not turning the football over on offense and creating more turnovers on defense. And the fact for us to go out there and have turnovers, which are completely avoidable, just not protecting the football in the run game, having a motion where the ball hits the receiver in motion was lack of focus, just the quarterback sending him in motion a little bit too early, and that's a mistake on a young quarterback. It's a mistake on a freshman wide receiver who's not smart enough to realize, hey, I am going too fast. I'm too close. I need to slow down so the ball doesn't hit me on the snap. And you get what happened, and plays like that, and interceptions where receivers have an opportunity to catch a football. Instead of catching the football, they drop it, but in a manner where they put it up in the air, ready for anybody to come in and make a play, a safety. And we can't do those sort of things. And you can chalk it up to youth to a degree, but when we spend as much time in practice preaching that these are things that we cannot do, and I address the team at the end of the game, it's just, when you're playing a team as good as Dayton, as experienced as Dayton, where they're the older team, they're the stronger, football team. They're the bigger football team. You don't have to play a perfect football game to win it, but you can't do what we did in the third quarter and expect to beat anybody, let alone a team that's 5-0 and atop the PFL. So that obviously, with that third quarter, that won the football game. And I'm glad that our players really thought they hung in there and there was no quit in the fourth quarter. Guys were fighting. We put together a good drive on offense. We had some great stops on defense, but you did put yourself in that type of hole, it's really, really hard to dig yourself out of that. This was also, again, very reminiscent of our game against Dayton a year ago, where we scored. We were behind at halftime, but we scored the first drive of the third quarter, missed a 2-point conversion to tie it, and instead of it being 14-14, we were down 12-14, and we had a very similar bad set of circumstances, turnovers, and gave it one big play on defense, and then we punted backwards and gave them great field position. It was bang, 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 3 quick scores for Dayton and put that game out of reach. So it's unfortunate that it's been 2 years in a row for us to have such an error-prone third quarter. And we've got to keep plugging away to get these things corrected, but unfortunately, it's not an easily quick fix issue. It has to do with just young guys, particularly on the offensive football. Just some of them are playing a little bit before their time. Some of them are just not strong enough yet. Some of them just can't handle the momentum swings because they're young guys and they haven't learned how to play like a mature college football player should play. So we're going to keep plugging away. We're going to keep trying to find ways to get better. We're going to get better as fast as we can. I believe that there are some winnable football games coming up here, and I'm hopeful that with senior leadership like the guys to my right and to my left can at least convey to these young freshmen that, hey, this is basically where we were a year ago. This Dayton game went almost exactly the same way a year ago, and we were able to emerge from it and continue to get better and put together a string of games towards the end of the season where we played some pretty good football. We played at a pretty high level, and we're capable of doing that. We have the talent to do that, but it's going to take some senior leadership. It's going to take some hard work, guys persisting in their efforts and understanding that the message isn't going to change. We're going to keep doing what's right. We're going to keep preaching what's right, and we're going to find a way to get better.
Dave, you mentioned after the first 2 tries, you did a good job on the third down. What was the one big 4th down play?
Yes.
4th and 6. What happened on that play? How big was that?
Yeah, well, we were playing man coverage, and they ran what amounted to a smash combination, a quick out and a flag route, and they just beat us in coverage. You know, we were doing a great job. I think it was an outstanding job by our defense, creating pressure, more pressure this week than we had the prior couple of games against a pretty good offensive line. We were blitzing. That was intentional to blitz a little bit more in this game and take some more gambles. And that was just a situation where we didn't get to the quarterback quickly enough there, and their receiver beat our man in coverage, and it was a good throw and a good route.
John, there are a lot of times where they got a great field position. What can you do as a defense when the other team gets a good field position and try to pick up your offense? What's that like for the defense?
The best thing for the defense is we know we have to hold them to a field goal if they're still in the red zone. But, I mean, as a great defense, we have to hold a team to as little or no points as we can when we're in the red zone. I mean, as our defense, we kind of thrive on that, and we like to be put in these situations. And it's just we have to step up and have to get them to either kick field goals or get a turnover for us.
After they went 7 for 7 on the first 7 third downs, what adjustments did you make, Alex? What did you guys change?
I think the tempo slowed down a little bit more. They were in a lot of hurry up. We were getting our calls in time, but people weren't really expecting the hurry up that Dayton came out with. But I think the adjustments we made was we went to a different package, personnel package. That helped out a lot. Put a more run game, run emphasis defense on. Kind of let the guys play out back with man coverage. But other than that, I think we did a good job adjusting to their kind of hurry up, semi-hurry up offense.
Coach, motivational wise, I mean, you got this point in the season, you guys have one win. How do you keep the guys motivated to continue fighting, especially after the game turns so quick?
Yeah, and we've got a young team, and there's a combination of two things. That when you have over half your football team is true freshmen, you get a lot of guys who they have those emotional swings. They get really frustrated, and guys can get down in those situations and allow the momentum swing when it goes against you to really take hold and not respond. And you're fighting against that. One of the luxuries that you have with a lot of young players is a lot of them are just happy to be playing right now. They're just excited to get out on the field, and they're just worried about getting better, learning their assignment, going out there and making a play. And so a lot of those guys bounce back pretty easily. They don't let it, in the long term. They might get frustrated because the momentum goes to their direction, the fumble return for a touchdown and the interception down to the 4-yard line, and those plays, that'll get them down, and that's hurting our play, our ability to come back in those situations and overcome that adversity. But in the long run, when our guys show up tomorrow, a lot of they're excited, they're ready to go, they're ready to get better, and like I said, in conjunction with a lot of seniors and juniors and some sophomores who were part of this a year ago, where we had one more win a year ago than we had now at this point. That's because we played a 12-game schedule instead of 11-game schedule. So we had an extra home game that we were able to get a win there. And so we're not really that far off from where we were a year ago at this time. And with our older guys realizing that, hopefully they can tell those guys that, guys, it does get better. You keep doing the right thing, acting the right way, socially responsibly, doing the right things with the community, little things right. You go to class, you study, you do your community service, then it comes time for practice, and you practice just as hard every single day. It doesn't matter if you're one game, 2 games, or you're 6-0, and you approach it the same way. And that's the message that we give to our players, and having the success that we had a year ago, hopefully there are enough guys on the team who can convey that message and say, hey, look, we can play a lot better. Just keep plugging away, and good things are going to happen.
Alex, how do you pass that message along? How do you talk to the underclassmen about the finish that you had last season, the end of the season is the best part of the year? Just what's your message to the underclassmen?
I try to stay enthusiastic as possible, especially on Sundays when it's our conditioning day. It's usually a lot of people are banged up, so just trying to get people to smile, be happy that you're out there and playing. But big thing that Coach said, we are exactly where we were a year ago. Some games were a little tighter than last year, but the thing is you just got to keep punching in, punch out for work, and just keep going to work and grind. So every day is the same day for me. It's just whether I come with a great attitude or not, and spread that attitude.
Dayton's had a lot of success, maybe one of the model PFL teams. What do you see from them, and how can you kind of replicate yourselves?
Well, sure, it's going to take time to get there. The biggest key for Dayton is I truly believe that if you look at the level of talent, the speed of the game, we have that ability to hang with teams like Dayton. The challenge is, again, you look at their front 7, and it's redshirt senior after redshirt senior, a couple of seniors sprinkled in there. 6 of their front 7 on defense were redshirt seniors or seniors, and that type of experience pays dividends in the second halves of ball games, where physically guys can fatigue a little bit, particularly the younger guys. The experience takes over, where the adversity, guys are able to overcome that. That comes with experience. And we have some of that on defense, but we have virtually none of that on offense right now. Sam Modernock was our only senior. He was playing with Nate Kahneman, our captain, out there. Jake Hudson is out there giving us some leadership, and he's only out there about a third to less than half of the downs. And we're playing with so many young guys, sophomores, a couple, but most of them are freshmen. And that's when these guys, 3 years from now, that's our hope, that this program is going to look like Dayton, where it's us that has seniors and fifth-year seniors dominating our two deep on both sides of the ball. And we back that up with a level of depth that we're only now just starting to get to. And it's going to take another year or possibly two worth of recruiting to get there. And it's just time. It's a function of time. I think our guys work hard in the weight room, study their playbook, have spring practice, and just continue to find ways to put the best players and get the best 11 football players out there. And as they get older and as they mature, guys like Frank Catrine already is a very good football player. He's got a lot of football ahead of him. Gene Renee made some outstanding plays today. He's going to be a great football player. But guys like this for Dayton, a lot of them are third or fourth on the depth chart because of the experience that they have. And Drake is very similar that way, and San Diego has that. We don't have that luxury right now. Hopefully in 2 or 3 years, we're going to have a lot of really talented young players as well, but they're not going to be playing for us. They're going to be scout team players and working hard in the weight room and not being pressed into action maybe a little bit before their time, or they're just not as physically able to hang with the seniors and juniors that are in our program that have had a lot of exposure and playing time, and they're 21, 22-year-old men. And we'll get there at some point, but this is the reality of where we're at right now. We've got a lot of young players, some of them playing a little bit before their time, but it's a lot of talent, and you really have to be optimistic that if these guys continue to hang in there and just persist and keep their nose to the grindstone, that good things are going to happen. Good things are going to happen by the end of this season, and for these young players, there are going to be some better years ahead.
Looking at your passing and rushing game, your passing game was actually better than Dayton's 3 yards. Was it planned to have a better passing game and more passing than rushing, or did that kind of evolve during the game?
Well, no, we wanted a balanced attack. We really felt like Dayton being as experienced as they were with their front seven, that we were going to have difficulty, that we couldn't go out there and just run the football, and we can't go out there and just pass the football. So we tried to keep them a little off balance, run play action, maybe throw the football when they think we're running. We ran the football in a lot of passing situations, and it got us a couple of big first downs, and that helped. And I think Ryan stepped up and played a pretty good football game. He had one really bad throw on the interception, but he played a better game this week than he did the week prior. And I think that's probably why, statistically he came out that way. In terms of Dayton, we did a great job for the most part shutting down their passing game, but they're a running football team. They run, so they make no bones about it. They're a run-first operation. So when you look and you see, 183 yards rushing off 45 attempts, they're trying to rush the ball for 200 yards plus a game, and we did a solid job stopping the run. We could have been a little bit better, but aside from those third down plays, a couple of them were rushes, but the majority of those early on were pass plays. And the big fourth down conversion that they made in the third quarter, I really think that we did an outstanding job defensively, really in both facets, both the run and the pass.
John, you have games like this, offset losses that you've been around for probably more than you would like to be. You hear Coach talk about the future, you don't have that time. What motivates you for the rest of the season? How do you keep yourself going in games like this?
I'm going to always love Valpo. I picked this college for a reason, this university for a reason. But for me and guys like Alex and all of our seniors, it's just we have these couple games left. We love football so much that we're just going to keep playing however hard we want to, because we want to remember these last couple of games and knew how we played and the best that we were at.
We spent a lot of time, talking about, particularly last year with our seniors, about leaving a legacy, and when Valpo wins their next PFL championship, they're going to be as big a part of it as the guys that hoist the trophy out on the football field, whether that's a a year from now, or 2 years from now, or 3 years from now. These guys that are helping to, to build a foundation, and for us to go through these growing pains, and the leadership that they can provide, particularly in tough times, is really part of the process. And you need to go through that, and that's every bit as important. What these guys can do in terms of their leadership ability as their play on the field is.
John, for the area of offense that Dave was playing and exhibiting, how did the defense adjust to it?
I think it was just kind of over time we kind of got used to it, I would say. I mean, it kind of surprised us in the first drive, and that's kind of the reason why they scored so quickly. But we just kind of calmed down, focused up, and I think everything went from there. We had Coach Moore on the sideline coaching us up on what we should do, and everything went from there.